Hello.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are now on the final episode, episode 21 of the Dark Souls Remastered All Bosses walkthrough. We just beat Manus in the DLC, finished all the DLC and everything, so we are now ready. We've beat every boss in the entire game except for one, which is the final boss, Gwyn, and that's what this episode is going to be. So we're here at the finale. Back at Firelink Shrine, we're going to go... now, you have a couple of options. You can actually talk to Frampt if you want to, but you don't actually need to. You can just whoop, drop straight down here, and it will take you to the Kiln of the First Flame. So we're going to come up to the Lord Vessel. And now, whenever you get the Lord Vessels, you can, do them as you get them if you want to offer them up. Otherwise, you can just come here like I am and do them all at once. We're going to offer souls to the Lord Vessel. Now the Lord Vessel is full of the Lord's souls. The doors to the Kiln of the First Flame will now open to you. Here we are. Alright, so the Kiln is a pretty small area. Not a ton to explore in here. However, if you didn't get lucky on any of the Black Knights, and didn't get their weapons to drop from them, those ones out in the world don't respawn. However, these ones in the Kiln, each version is here. And so this is an excellent spot to be able to farm them for either their weapons or for special Titanite materials that you can get from them as well. So there's quite a few here, as they were Gwyn's, most loyal knights. So of course, in the area right before him, there's going to be a bunch of them. Boom, Titanite check. If you ever do, if you do have to do runbacks to Gwyn after dying, these guys are fairly easy to run past to get to his fog gate, so you don't have to fight them every time by any means. But for this first run through, we're going to take them all down, because they're fun. But yeah, so you can just farm and farm and farm these guys as much as you want to. Right, as we come up to this area, we'll now start to go onto these little precarious walkways, because, what would Dark Souls be without narrow walkways? Alright. Over here, there's going to be a Black Knight on the other side of this pillar. Going to aggro towards us. We're going to come to this spot. It's a little bit wider. Now, if throughout the game you're like, man, that Black Knight armor is so cool, would really love to wear it, but none of them ever drop it, well, that's because they don't drop their armor, and the full armor set is available right here. I know in my first playthrough, that was the set that I wanted, more than anything else in the entire game. I was like, give me that Black Knight armor set, that is all I want. It is, unsurprisingly, fairly heavy. So you do need to keep that in mind, but yeah, it's a very cool set. But since the Elite Knight, this is the default, looking armor and everything for the game, so I'm like, you know what, we're gonna stick with this, just for the vibe, Alright, if you are human and you saved Solaire, you did the good ending to his quest line, his summon sign will be right here available to you. But again, if you had to kill him, obviously he's not going to be here, so that's kind of the risk reward. Bad ending for him is you get his armor. Good ending is he's available to fight available to summon for Gwyn. All right, if you look down in there, you can actually see Gwyn standing there at the very first bonfire where the first flame was lit, and he's just in a perpetual torment, never-ending suffering, but he always just kindling the flame because he doesn't want the Age of Fire to die. In this ending, we are going to go for the standard Link the Fire ending, since we did talk to Frampt and agreed to help him. We don't necessarily need to. I'll show you what you can do for the other ending. But it always feels a little bit more meaningful if we do the other ending when speaking to Koth. So if you're curious about the other endings, I did explain in the New Londo Ruins episode how to do Koth's quest line and get him to show up. So if you are curious, you can go look at that. But there's definitely plenty of other guides available as well. All right, here we are. Gwyn, if he can be easily taken down, one of the easier bosses in the game if you just stick to parrying. Parrying is very easy in this game. It gets a little more complicated in the further games from Software Made, but in this one it is a piece of cake. He's always going to start out the fight by a jump attack towards you. That one can be a little tricky to get the parry off correctly, but past that point, most of the attacks are a piece of cake, except for one where it has absolutely no wind-up whatsoever. He'll just basically, out of nowhere, just swipe at you with his sword. If you don't parry him, this fight can be really tough, because one hit from him, half your health bar is gone. So he can easily just kill you very quickly. So parrying is definitely the way to go. But if you want a solid challenge, then don't do parrying. But it's definitely a challenge. All right, so here we go. Let's see if we can get the parry on the jump attack as the plim plim plon plays in the background. Dang, didn't get it. I'm gonna try to heal real quick here. Oh, watch the grab attack. That thing can really suck. Come on, Gwyn, what are you doing? So, yeah, this is pretty much what he's reduced to when you parry. It is nothing difficult at all. Feels bad with this music. We're just, he's this hollow, the end of his wits, a shell of his former self. But his time has come. He does have one of the more unique death animations in the game if you don't parry him. Like, you see he reaches up there as he dies if he's flat on his back. But the Soul of Cinder from Dark Souls 3 shares the death animation from him. If you don't parry him, if you just hit him normally, he'll get down on one knee and do the reaching up thing and then dissipate. Which is just, it's a very, very sad final boss, even though at the end of the day, Gwyn is kind of responsible for the state of Lordran, like the curse of the undead and everything like that. It's basically all his fault, and we're not going to be helping by any means by linking the fire. But, it still kind of feels bad to do that. Alright, so if you don't want to link the fire, if you want to go with the Age of Dark ending, all you need to do is just walk out that doorway. That's all it takes. But like I said, we're going to do the classic basic ending for this. Come up to this bonfire and hit Link the Fire. Keep in mind, as I mentioned before, when you beat Gwyn, you were locked. You cannot go back to where you were before. This playthrough is over and done with. You will be advancing to New Game Plus. But yeah, so that is it for this Dark Souls Remastered all bosses walkthrough. I touched on this a little bit at the end of the last episode, but any of you have been watching this whole series, I really do appreciate you taking the time and joining me in this playthrough. I love this game. There's definitely parts of it that, you know, bring it down a little bit, but the middle part, and early, and the DLC, like, it's so good. It's a classic. So I really have enjoyed this whole walkthrough, and hope that any of you who are watching have enjoyed it as well and have learned something from it. But yeah, credits are rolling now, and if you skip through the credits, then it takes you straight into New Game Plus right from the very beginning. Yeah, so like I said, really appreciate all of you stopping by. Please like and subscribe if you can. It really does help out a ton to be able to, you know, see some kind of success and, you know, something coming from this. But at the end of the day, I'm just kind of having fun, you know, doing these videos and recording them. And you know, any excuse I get to play through the Souls games, I won't complain. For the next walkthrough, I mean, I feel like the right thing to do would be to do Dark Souls 2, since I've done 3 in 1 at this point, you know, finish out the trilogy. But I've been talking about Elden Ring a lot through these first 2 playthroughs, and it's just kind of made me really want to play through Elden Ring again. So I might go with Elden Ring for the next All Bosses walkthrough. Obviously, that series is going to be much longer, as that game is massive and there's a ton of bosses in it and just so much to do in it. But I'd never get sick of that game. So I'm thinking that might be the next one, and then we'll eventually get to Dark Souls 2, but we'll also be doing you know, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, you know, all the Souls games. So we will get to all of them eventually. But yeah, appreciate any of you who have been watching these things. This is the final episode of Dark Souls Remastered, and whatever I do end up deciding to go with on the next walkthrough, I hope you'll join with me again during that. But for now, this is Jukebox Hero signing off. We will see you next time.